Hi there, and thank you for watching this video. I'm Dr. Adam, and today I want to go over the 6 TOK questions for May 2025. We'll briefly look at each of the questions, examine a few key terms and implications, and consider any assumptions that might be present. I'll start by displaying the 6 questions and give you a moment to read them. Feel free to pause the video if you'd like more time to look them over. Okay, let's discuss the questions one by one. The first thing to note is that this question asks you to focus on the AOKs of history and human science. While it's not mandatory to be taking these subjects in the IBDP, doing so can enhance the knowledge you can draw from when tackling this question. Next, you should carefully consider the concept of an ethical directive. By now, you should be familiar with the role ethics plays in AOKs and how it serves as one of the 4 pillars of TOK, alongside scope, perspective, and methods and tools. The directive here is to, quote, not ignore contradictory evidence. The first element to focus on is evidence. This is crucial because you must ensure that any examples or ideas you develop center on evidence, not on other elements like knowledge, ideas, or beliefs. Reflect on your lessons about methods and tools and consider what evidence is and how it can be discussed in these AOKs. Once you've identified what your evidence might be, you can then start thinking about whether historians and human scientists have an ethical obligation to follow the directive. Do not ignore contradictory evidence. The second question requires you to critically examine and justify what exactly, quote, most revered knowledge means. At first glance it might seem clear, but remember that perspective plays a significant role in determining what garners reverence, as well as the assumptions that may be involved. This is crucial because something initially considered objectively most revered might reveal its fragility upon closer inspection. It is also important to note that one of the AOKs you need to consider is art. Make sure to frame your discussion of art around its knowledge rather than focusing solely on a specific work. These are 2 distinct concepts. Question 3 is a bit more nuanced in how it wants you to approach the answer. It's a how question, meaning it asks you to present a solution to a problem. Defining reconcile is key to exploring the answer, as only through this definition can you address the assumptions that link the pursuit of knowledge with finite resources. Remember, your goal isn't just to find how they reconcile these 2 elements within a specific example. You must, as with all these questions, take a step back and consider the theory of knowledge. Think about the broader elements at play that could be applicable to various examples, not just this particular instance. Next, we have another do question. These are interesting because you can initially approach them in simple terms. Yes, you can, or no, you cannot. However, also remember that it includes the word always, meaning that if one instance exists where it isn't the case, then it is no longer always. That being said, be careful not to oversimplify some of the terms here. For example, think deeply about what improved knowledge really means. Is it just a more detailed version of something you already know, or is it something vastly different? This definition might also change depending on the AOKs you choose to explore. The final element to consider is the definition of ever-improving tools, which is different from new tools. Don't limit yourself by only thinking about recent technological advancements. Now we have a to what extent question. Think of approaching such questions like a 1 to 10 number scale, with 1 meaning to no extent and 10 meaning to a complete extent. Your answer to this question should ideally address a range of points along the scale. Indeed, you might consider how models are sometimes correct and at other times completely wrong. Just because George Box is a famous statistician doesn't mean you have to fully agree with his thoughts. I believe mathematics was chosen as the AOK here because of the nature of models in maths. Everything in this area is built upon axioms, so it's easy to see why Box might view models built on them as wrong. Finally, we have a very different and open-ended question that can be approached in various ways. While defining, quote, a sense of wonder in an essay may seem pedantic, I believe it's essential to understand what this is in order to find real-world examples of it. This might be the challenging part, as few people discuss a sense of wonder and how it might be hindered by directly acquiring knowledge. You might also want to consider the ramifications of losing a sense of wonder if you believe this happens when acquiring knowledge. Is it a good thing? Or does acquiring knowledge simply open more doors? And there you have it. I hope this overview of the 6 questions has been insightful and helps you build a strong foundation for your TOK essay this year. If you'd like to learn more about the TOK essay or receive personalized tutoring in TOK or another IB subject, please don't hesitate to email CANA@canaelite.com. Happy learning!